Matters shows for free a week. But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications option. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatters1892@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices. I took what I had sworn. Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. But you know, the wouldn't let you have it any other way.
Good evening, welcome to NUFC Matters. It is the Fans Forum, coming off the back of another Newcastle United win in their chase for Champions League football, beating Manchester United by 4-1. And news coming out of St James's Park in the last half an hour is that Eddie Howe is recovering from a bout of pneumonia, and he's not going to be, he's put a little press release out there, but basically it doesn't look like he'll be there on Wednesday night for the Crystal Palace game. And pneumonia, obviously, not something that you can easily shake, but he's put a press statement out here. A huge thank you to everyone connected with Newcastle United and the wider football community for your messages and warm wishes. They've meant a lot to me and my family. I also want to pay tribute to our incredible NHS and the hospital staff who've treated me. I'm immensely grateful for the specialist care I'm receiving, and after a period of recovery, I look forward to being back as soon as possible. So good luck to Eddie and his recovery. Thank you to Newcastle United for giving us that update, and Jason Tyndall and co will be in charge on Wednesday night. Of course, the press conference to follow tomorrow, so we will be covering that on tomorrow's show. But obviously we have the game to look back on, and as promised, here he is, Melly. Good evening.
Oh, Melly.
Oh, Melly.
Hey, Melly.
Again. Well, Melly,
Nice to meet you.
as
right?
always, he's a man of his word. He's here to talk about what went right and what went wrong. Certainly, everything went right for the black and white. It didn't go right for Manchester United. In fact, it went very wrong. Just coming off the back of listening to the match of the day and Sky coverage, and Roy Keane wasn't my favourite player, but by God, is he honest. Very honest guy about, his team at the moment. He's read through and through, as is Melly. And let's see what kind of opinion we'll get from Melly. So 4-1, Melly. How did you feel? I know you were confident before the game. You're never going to back against your team. You went for a 1-1 draw. You had a bit of a smile on your face, to be honest, yesterday when we met before the game, when you said that. But 4-1, fair result.
Well, I think you were always going to win, weren't you? It was always going to be an uphill struggle. Half time, it's ones each. We could have potentially had a penalty, definitely much in the game. Me and Gary were standing having a drink at half time, and I said, after 5 minutes, you can tell which Man United are going to turn up. And United turned up. And I looked at them and said, we're in a game here. They've turned up. Even though he did bring about the changes. And then the second half, just calamity. United struck again. And that Newcastle played well. I'm not taking anything away from you. But you cannot afford when your back's against the wall to give away the chances that we give away. I mean, even the first goal, we did a little bit of passing in the middle and it was doing well. And then like a stupid pass out wide ends up if, I think it was Murphy, who plays it into Isaac, chip over the top and it's 1-0. And then for the second goal and the third and the fourth, there's an error there from United. And an error that it didn't have to happen. You know, like, and that's where we're at as a team. Every game, we're doing at least 1 or 2 errors. It's normally coming from the goalkeeper, and one did come from the goalkeeper. But to say that it was, I don't know. At half time, you all use on this stage now must have thought to yourself, we're in a game here. Nobody seen that coming to 4-1.
Nah. Your goal was
should have been 4 to play first half.
I was confident with a hammer.
It was a good goal. But...
Do you know what? I'll stand up here. I'll not agree with you, Melly, but I didn't foresee us going on to win it that convincing because there was some nice little tiny bits here and there from you. So
that stage of play, you know, like where Xerxes hits it straight at the keeper. If that guy's in, it's a different game. If we get the penalty, it's a soft penalty, but I've seen them give them in the Premier League. If we get that penalty, it's a different game. We got in 2-1 up, you know, like, and then within 5-10 minutes of the second half, you've scored a goal, you've scored another. It's game over. It's game over. It could have went.
What about
the
penalty we weren't given?
Huh?
What about the penalty we weren't given, Melly? The bloke pushes somebody over in the penalty area and he gets booked, but he doesn't give a penalty. Where the hell's what's that?
Fabian Shaw.
What rule are out of?
I didn't
he laid
see that.
Him flat, you know. He got booked.
He
got booked. How can you book him and not give a penalty? What rule book does that come out of?
That's
ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. I don't think he's been booked for that because if he's booked for a foul, it's got to be a penalty.
So
it must have been for a different
The ball's got to be in play.
Yes,
the ball's got to be live and it's got to be in play before that penalty could be given.
Yeah, it was a corner, and the corner hadn't been taken. Yeah. So Kevin's right. It was a bit of to and fro going on in the box, and Fabian Shaw got pushed over. So that was why the yellow card was given. But yeah, Melly, look, I mean,
twice.
I had my
second time he booked them.
But the ball wasn't in play, George. They hadn't.
The ball's going to be in play.
Yeah, that was the issue. I mean, Melly, look, you're always going to come out with a defensive about your team. I mean, Manchester United 14 defeats this season in the league. That's another 14 last season as well. On course now to finish the lowest they've ever finished in the Premier League. Did you ever foresee a day when Newcastle would win 5 games in a row against Manchester United?
5 games in a row? It cannot be that.
League and Cup now. League and Cup now, mate. League and Cup. League and Cup. League and Cup.
In the Cup final.
League and Cup, mate. 5 games. Well,
I know what. I got to tell it was 90 years since you've done the double hour.
1930. 1930s,
yes.
When's the parade?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm fishing. I've got him on the hook.
Well, it's a parade you'll never have.
What did you think? What did you think of Newcastle and Melly? Obviously, you've seen them at your place. You've seen them at home. We are chasing Champions League. What's your opinion on Newcastle now as a team? You're at the cup final where you beat us. 2 goals to 1. That was the start of our kind of moving up into a different era. Are we a better team than we were when we got beat off you in the final?
100%. To be honest with you, like that final, we won the final, but really, you probably had a better chance against us than what you did Liverpool, and you ended up getting beat off us and beating the team where anybody else actually give you the chance. Yeah. So that just goes to show you how far you've come on as a team. And the thing is, you've broke that duck now. You've won a trophy, and you've got a togetherness as a team. And that's what I'm envious of, because you see your players interacting with your fans, and there is that togetherness. That's missing at United. That's missing at Manchester United, should I say. Sorry to upset anybody. That isn't there. And I think that is crucial, I think if everybody's singing off the same page, then you see the difference on the pitch. And you see that with Newcastle. Good and point. I mean, like, I was honest with you, and I said it's a challenge. But, I cannot say that my team's going to get beat, because I could never, ever do that. But I knew that it was going to be a tough game coming up to Newcastle. because the crowd wasn't really very good yesterday. I don't think your crowd, but I know how good it can be. So if that game's nails each and the pressure's on, then the crowd's different. But because you're winning 2 or 3-1, people get a little bit, like comfortable in the different things. So I understand why they've done that. So when they come to Newcastle, normally it's a hard ground to come to. I think you've got a harder game on Wednesday than what you had last night. I think Palace are on the up, but I think you're one of the favourites. And I think you'll probably finish second. Arsenal are just bottle jobs, and they're proving that lately. Newcastle are on a good run. They're hard to play against. They're winning away from home. And like I say, you've got that togetherness. So when you feel like that, you can take anybody on. It doesn't matter what sport or what you're doing in life. If you're feeling full, you'll do well. And Newcastle are feeling full. That doesn't matter where they go, they seem to put on a display. So the future is bright for you. But like I said to you last week, with the parade, I wasn't mocking the parade. I just think it would have been a bigger statement if you'd said, look, we won the Carabao Cup. We're going to save the parade for when we win the Premier League, which is coming very soon. Hold tight. And I think that would have sent out a much better statement than having the parade for the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's all about opinions. From your perspective, Melly, I asked you about Amorim. Are you still convinced? I mean, I listened to Roy Keane. I caught up with Sky's coverage today, and Roy Keane, couldn't believe what Amorim was saying, really. And Amorim was, I don't even think he was trying to deflect things from his players. He was just concentrating on Thursday. We're concentrating on Thursday. And Roy Keane was more or less saying, well, you better be good on Thursday because he is avoiding talking about what's happened. What's your feelings on your manager? Do you still have faith in him?
I have faith, 100% faith. You know what? It is all on Thursday. Thursday's got to take the priority, right? But I think he just wants this season to be over. He's running out of excuses for these players, and he doesn't want to chuck them under the bus. It's getting to the point now where he just wishes that it was the end of the season. Doesn't matter if we won anything or not. He just wants to put this season to bed. He didn't realize how big of a task it was when he came in, Steve. Now he realizes he's opened the book. He's getting in. He's realized exactly what's wrong. Like Ralph Ragnick said, this is open heart surgery. You look from the outside, mate. And a lot of people have a lot of things to say about Manchester United, but you've never seen them as bad as what they've been. That tells you that it's rotten from the ground up. A bit where yous were not so long ago. A bit where yous were. But he's brought the right manager in. He speaks with confidence and he speaks the truth. And that's very rare in managers that you get transparency in interviews. And he does that. And I just think he's got somebody else's players, although they're really expensive players. He needs to get his own core group of players in, and they need to give him time. They cannot keep changing manager time after time after time. But the trouble that you've got with a lot of NUFC fans is that they expect instant results because of who we were, and it's not going to happen. It is not going to come. You need to have a 5-year plan. You need to stick with the manager. You need to stick with his tactics, because I tell you what, and now, like a lot of people, and you especially, you're thinking, now Mohamed is. But if you watch we play in spells, like if we've got a good goalkeeper and a prolific goal scorer, we will score goals and we'll stop conceding them. They play all right. It's just in matches, as soon as somebody scores against them, the heads is down, and instantly there's normally always another goal for the other team within 5 to 10 minutes afterwards because they just don't know what to do. The heads are spinning. And I think once that's ironed out, United will start performing again, mate, and we'll start seeing a bit of a bit of belief, not just in the players, but in the background. And it starts from there. And it filters right the way through the club.
I think it's your roof. Have you fixed that roof leak yet or not?
Don't worry about the roof leak, mate, honestly. Honestly.
No, I
forgot to thank you actually for helping build a new stadium. Thank you for
that. Yes, Jim Rack is setting the GoFundMe up as we speak. I bet. Melly, listen, great to have you on, mate. I know you've got to go and do some prep for your own show, mate, and I'm going to jump on your show tonight. So looking forward to that. But listen,
thank you, lads, and good luck. I do genuinely hope you get Champions League. It'll be great for the area.
Melly, lad.
Good luck on Thursday, mate. I do mean it. Me and you go back a long way, and I'd like to see them do it for you. I'd like to see Man United get knocked out for everybody else, but for you and Gary, mate, for you and Gary, I'd like to see you get the result you want. I'll see you later on about 10 to 8.
Have a good show, boys. Cheers.
Take care.
Take care.
Take it easy.
Top man, Melly's channel's called Talk and Turf. We'll be on there tonight. He starts at 7:30. I'm jumping on about 10 to 8. So keep an eye out on that tonight. And Melly is a good lad. Just supports the wrong team. George, your views then on the match yesterday. Newcastle winning by 4-1. Could have been a lot more, George.
Exactly. I mean, Melly's saying about when Almiron gets his team. When's Eddie Howe going to get his team? By God, it'd be a bloody good one when he does, because he's still playing with players that Bruce couldn't play and are still in our team. So, we want our own team as well, never mind Almiron. The sad thing for me was it was quite clear from that match. The youngsters on that Manchester United team just didn't know what they were doing. If there's a plan, the manager hasn't told them, because some of the bad, really horrific defending that there was in that team is just getting ingrained now, and it's going to damage those kids' careers, because it looked really sad. That is without doubt the worst Manchester United team I've seen in my lifetime, and that's saying something. It was just so bad it wasn't true. They were very fortunate to go in at half-time 1-1. If we'd just been a bit more steady and a bit more clinical in the first half, would have gone in with 4 goals in the first half, never mind the second half. Number of crosses, assists that Murphy, for example, put across that penalty area, and nobody even touched them, never mind headed them towards goal or anything like that. And it was just, it was one of those games where you're thinking, well, it's not going to happen, and it'll go wrong. And of course, it did go wrong when they got an equaliser from our left-sided two, slipping on the backsides at a rather inappropriate time. But the kid made a good fist of it and scored a reasonably good goal. But after that, second half, they were just nowhere. And as I say, some of the defending was just, it wasn't even schoolboy. In fact, some of it was because players didn't want the ball. They were scared. They didn't want the ball. They were just trying to get out of the way. And of course, our lot made hay. For my opinion, that's the best game that the left winger's had since he come to Newcastle. He worked. Yes, as he was so active, chasing. And the second goal, he chased the ball himself, got it off a defender, and then just went through the middle. And by the time it hit the back of the net, there was 5 Manchester United players around him, and he still managed to burst the net. That's Harvey Barnes deserves a lot of credit. But at the end of the day, I've got to keep going back to the man that is my favourite player at the moment, and that's Tonali. Tonali was just a class above everybody else on the field. He's got the engine, he's got the skill, he tackles, he harasses, he never gives up. Just towards the end, he made a run from our penalty area right to their goal line and left everybody in his wake. They just couldn't keep up with him. That's after he's nearly had a full game. And his touches, absolutely. His goal, never hesitated. First time, whoop, get in. No bother. No trying to trap it and do all sorts of fancy things. He knew where it wanted to go. So, Tonali for me, but all over the pitch, there were people who played well. Tino Livramento, the left back, is singing beautiful songs at the moment. My goodness, when he gets in flight, he just leaves everybody standing. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody. He really goes for it. And he add to that he locks up a decent right winger who hardly got a kick of the ball. In reality, so yeah, there was so much happening on the pitch that the defense wasn't too bad. Dan Burn was quiet but effective, getting his headers in, even though his shirt was getting pulled off his back every time he went for the ball. It was great to be there. But I do, the praising this manager, but it looks at the moment it looks like to me there's a manager with a plan, but he hasn't told the players what the plan is. It's a bit like a skydiving coach, you know. He tells the blokes on the plane that it's great, and when they're halfway down, he realizes he's forgot to tell them how to pull the cord, you know, for the parachute, because that's the way it looked at me. But just awful, absolutely awful. Well, it's all in our own hands, isn't it? Really, we've been saying on here for a couple of weeks now. If we win the games that we should win, then third place at least. But I think Melly's right that the way Arsenal are played at the moment, they're so nervy. They won't welcome us for that away game when we play later in the weeks when we go. So yeah, good and as I say, lots of hard work in the team to be happy about. And even when the substitutes came on, they didn't look like any way they were going to affect what we were doing. My only disappointment of the substitutes was that he brought Callum Wilson on and didn't give Young Rasula a run out, which I thought was an ideal opportunity. But hey-ho, not going to complain about that. But my only complaint is it was only 4, because it could have been and should have been a lot more. So I'd stop there, because otherwise I'll talk the whole bloody hour the way I feel about it. But it was great. It was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And Tonali getting the first goal was even better news for me. £10 on 2021. Thank you very much.
Yes.
220 quid back in me skyrocket last night. Thank you, Sandro. Alan, your feelings on that match yesterday? A 4-1 win against Manchester United. The first double over Manchester United since 1930s era. What an amazing stat that is. And I was winding Melly up about the 5 games. I just love getting a bite and throwing them into a turmoil. I've got another one up my sleeve for when I'm on his channel later on. What do you think?
5 out of 6, though, Steve. It is
5 out of 6. So, yeah, 5 out of 6. But did he see his face? He's going panic stations. But yeah, go on, Alan. What did you think?
I thought it was tremendous, Steve. But I've still got a little bit of Stockholm syndrome. I have to agree with Melly at half time with Pavlo when it got to ones each, and I thought for a majority of the first half we'd dominate and it came in ones each. I hope these aren't going to scum a bloody 1-1 or a 2-1 win. But as soon as the second half started and we scored that second goal, all my relief went. I thought there was only one team in it. For me, I agree majority of what George said. I thought Livermore was outstanding especially in the second half. I thought Harvey Barnes was obviously great. George has covered majority of things that I was going to say as well. But roll on. Wednesday's the most important game now, lads. You've got to move on. Melly says about the atmosphere, but that comes with the fact that majority of fans now are getting used to success and winning games and thinking we should win. And it's a very dangerous thing to be. So I think Palace will be harder than the game that we've just had, to be honest with you. Even though they got beat 5-2 of Man City, I think Wednesday night's going to be crucial for us because the table doesn't lie. And if we get third psychologically, it'll affect Nottingham Forest more than it will anybody else in the race for the Champions League. I really do think that. As far as getting second, George, lads, it depends if we can keep in contact with Arsenal, because they play Liverpool the week before and then they play us. Yeah. So if we're still in, if they get beat off Liverpool and we're still winning, then if we beat them, then that's the time we'll go ahead, because unfortunately for us, they've got Southampton on the last day. So I don't have much hope of catching them if we're behind them on the last day. But anyway, fantastic, Steve. It's very boring now because we keep going on about victory after victory, and Darren's having to slide further down the settee when he had Murphy being man of the match against Leicester and coming away and chatting with Pavlo saying, who was that guy on the wing? And even on Sky Sports, like I said in the green room, Steve, they even mentioned Murphy for England on Sky Sports this morning. I thought Darren's going to have a fit if he hears that.
Tuchel was
it's been
there.
a bad day today. Like honestly, it's been a bad
Tuchel
day.
was there. Tuchel was there to watch him, of course. So you never know. The Stockholm syndrome thing's interesting because since the cup final, I've not had it. And the kid who sits next, Dave, who sits next to me, was like you, Alan. He was panicking. He was, 1-1. He was concerned. He was worried. He couldn't enjoy the start of the second half. We went 2-1 up. He says we need a third. I wasn't like that. I'm actually now feeling at St James's Park like I was back in the 90s. I feel wherever we turn up at St James's Park, even if we go a goal down, that we're going to score 2. And I feel as if we're going to win every game. And it's quite clear as well that the players feel like that. The players are exuding confidence. Every single player is putting his best effort in. And despite Eddie not being there yesterday, you could hear the confidence in Bruno and Harvey Barnes' interview, afterwards. And, they know their jobs, they know what they've got to do. And it's just, Willock's going to be back Wednesday night after his couple of matches missed with concussion. We've got Gordon back now. And it's really interesting. The atmosphere thing's interesting. We've discussed it many times on here. And I do really feel sometimes with the atmosphere that it just depends what time the kickoff is. And I think a lot of people were probably out from 11 o'clock. It was a nice day. There was a bit of sun. And I do think that people, probably had a few bevies and, ultimately were just probably hanging a little bit. Obviously it's a Sunday. People are being out on a Saturday as well. I do think that plays its part with a 4:30 kickoff on a Sunday. On a 12 o'clock kickoff on a Sunday, the atmosphere can be different. But the Brentford game, I'll rewind back to the Brentford game. There was a different atmosphere. Both ends were singing. It was a party atmosphere. I know that was the first game after the cup, but there's definitely a change. I think there's probably more people in the stadium feeling like me now than there has been for a long time. And if we keep winning and we'll keep progressing as we are, then that will spread like Stockholm syndrome spread. Confidence, positivity, it will. I'm going to come to Magnus after the ads. We're halfway through the show with having Melly on. We'll get the rest of the lads' opinions on the match. And Pablo, when we come to him, will be asking us all a question as well. He's got a question which he wanted to ask his parents yesterday, I think, or his parents asked him. So we'll be coming to that after the break.
Big thanks to all our sponsors. Skips and Bins. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. Their website, skipsandbins.com. Contact them, www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. Their website, mrvickies.co.uk. Email info@mrvickies.co.uk. Telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to our fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel, UK Coach Holidays. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. 2 crew, driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels, no interchanges. Hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach, all excursions included. Their website, www.unitedgrouptravel.com. Email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com. Telephone 01670 632 460 or mobile 0791 666 4174. A big thanks to Media Arts for all the technical side of things. And if you want to listen to us as a podcast, you can find us on Sport Social Podcast Network. We're also available on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast providers. If you want to support the channel, then hit the subscribe button. We still do 7 shows a week. Hit the like button, which is the thumb underneath this video, and click share to your social media. You could also take out a monthly membership or an annual membership at nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. For the lifetime membership, you can pay £25 and get a pen, a beer mat, a fridge magnet, a badge and a keyring and your membership card and entry into the monthly draw. Some events coming up, 27th of June, 2025, the end of season party. Beresford, Howie and Watson will be at the Tyneside Irish Centre with Joe Allen in aid of North Tyneside Age UK. You can get your tickets for that one from nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk or from Woucher. No Covers takes place at the Clooney. That's on the 29th of June, midday till 3:45. and tickets are £10 from theclooney.com or newcastlelegends.com. Northern Horizon at Blake 7 Convention takes place on the 9th of August, 10 till 4 at the Tyneside Irish Centre. Come and meet some of the cast and crew in aid of Age UK North Tyneside Dementia. Tickets from nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. An evening with Peter Beardsley and Chris Waddle takes place on Friday the 23rd of January 2026 at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House. You can get tickets from the box office 0844 249 1000 or from tynetheatreandoperahouse.uk. And Bad Manners are back in the Northeast at the O2 City Hall, Friday the 30th of January 2026. Tickets from ticketmaster.co.uk. And we have copies of The Entertainer's book signed by Les Ferdinand available from nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk.
Okay, welcome back to the Fans Forum. Thanks to everybody tuning in. Over 560 tuned in live. If you are watching on Twitter, Facebook, or any other social media platform, please jump onto YouTube, search NUFC Matters, and hit the subscribe button. We do 7 shows a week. Okay, Magnus, we are over to you, sir. And what was your take in Iceland of Newcastle's 4-1 win against Manchester United?
Well, I just got to say, lately I've been very, very entertained by the style of football that we are playing. You know, before the game, we were the favorites, and it's nice to see them taking it on and being the favorites and controlling the game and pressing high. I'm enjoying this football very much. This is becoming like the Harlem Globetrotters to me. You know, we are shooting amazing goals, and we're passing tiki-taka football and making them look absolutely awful. And I want to. I mean, I was a little bit tired of the media constantly talking about how bad Man United was. They were bad because we didn't allow them to play. First half, maybe we were a little bit shaky. They had a few counter-attacks. Fair enough. We may be lacking a little bit in pace, but we got it together and conceded that one goal. And for me, we controlled the first half as well, mostly. But the goal from Tonali, I mean, this is absolutely no short of sensational. You know, I'm enjoying the football ever so much. And this is the first time since 1931 since we got a double on them. So good on us. May there be many more. I mean, we beat Nottingham Forest, what was it, 3 or 4 times? At least 3 times. And then if we look at it that way, we played Liverpool 3 times. We beat them in the most important one. We drew them at home in a sensational game. And then we lost to them. So that's a little bit of a draw still. You know, although we got the cup, so you know we'll forget about that lost game very easily. So I'm just really I'm glad for the team. Everybody is pulling their weight. I don't know if you guys saw it, but when Joelinton was substituted off, man, he had a right row, and he was gonna actually get Ugarte to come and meet him in the tunnel with him. But this was exactly the kind of togetherness that you need to see. Everybody gets wound up once in a while. The whole team dragged him off, and I could even see him get a little bit of a slap in the head from Jason Tindall, man. Mad dog. He knows his business. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he just slapped him in the head a little bit when he came off the pitch. Nothing short of sensational. This is the team spirit that I want to see in the team, you know, and I'm enjoying it very much. Great for Jason Tindall to get the chance to you know, enjoy the limelight and show what he's all about. Every time he speaks, he's just as clever as Eddie Howe, and they have the same philosophy. And enjoy very much seeing him on the sideline in his cool hoodie. Other than, you know, I have to tell you this. Good thing Melly is off, but. One of my sons thought that Amorim was a ball boy in his hoodie. So I don't care for that one. Get him a new sweater, man. He does not look good in that, and it looks like his players are not respecting him either. Try suiting up. Be like Carlo Ancelotti or something then, because this doesn't seem to be working one little bit. I feel almost sorry for Man United, but not enough. Not enough to really pity them. Roy Keane said everything that needs to be said about Man United, and they've got their own problems. We are on a good run now. I think even my and George's forecast of 25 points is starting to look pretty good, if not being a little bit negative. So yeah, I'm enjoying the football very much. Long may it continue. There's no stopping us now.
Yeah, no stopping us now. Darren, good to see you, mate. What's your feelings about yesterday's game then? I mean, Tuchel as well, he was there. Of course, the England manager. And we can't deny it. It's another assist for Murphy.
I agree with that.
First of all,
Murphy for England.
Oh well, Adam gets too far away. Yesterday, start of the day, I seen George in the area centre, and he needed to buy a heart of Coke, so I had to buy him a heart of Coke, and so that was a good start of the day, buying George a heart of Coke, and so I'm so superstitious. I got him for a kebab. I always got to see George before a game, and we'll win heavily. So I'll be sticking that routine for the time being. But the game itself, first of all, Sky's been disgusting that I've heard, and he'll give a flying frig. I want to swear, but I'm not. He'll go on the flying thing about Man U. It's great to see him playing shite. I'm not bothered about them. Do you know what I mean? So I tell I'm going to mention about them numpties. We're talking about Newcastle anyway. And now, first of all, I thought we were trying to force it too much. We didn't relax. We weren't relaxed. Yes, we should have a couple of more goals first off, but I just think we were just forcing it too much, and then Tyne changed. He changed a couple of things in the second half, and it worked because he scored in the first couple of minutes of the second half, and then the players relaxed, and Man U, there must be Ruben when be a good manager. Why are they playing up on the back? Newcastle are known for pressing, so it baffled me that. Did you not rate Newcastle? Do you not think Newcastle are not going to do it? We hassled them all through from the second half. We could have scored a few more. Barnes, yes, his best game I've seen him playing the black and white top. In the second half, I don't think first half he wasn't non-existent, mate, in my opinion. But Tonali's man of the match. As well, I'd say I'll get Barnes, but fully behind Tonali, like. And if Tuchel's watching Murphy on the right hand side, England's in a really bad condition because he's not going to get into other players, like. But if he wouldn't play on the bench for England, he can. But that's how
what about a World Cup winner? Well, you get a tattoo then, World Cup winner.
No. So I'm never going to say out like that again because it was just the winning goal in the League Cup final. He scored the winning goal. So he didn't score the winning goal. I mean, that's the most won the cup with no winning goal. But everybody who played, like I say, I thought Isak had done his bit and he didn't score. But the midfield, it was good to see Bruno getting Joe Linton off the pitch. For the first time, it was good to see a captain. Joe Linton could have stayed. He could have caused a bit more chaos. Mm-hmm. And Bruno, I watched Bruno. He went.
Well, worse, he might have got a booking.
Yeah. So Bruno
proper captain behaviour.
Yeah. So Bruno actually got him off the pitch. So he forced him off the pitch. It was good to see Bruno doing that as the captain for once, taking some responsibility as a captain. He made sure he got off. He probably told him, you put your ban on you. So it was good to see that. But Tino Livramento, outstanding again. But I see the full. I wasn't concerned when they scored 1-1. I wasn't too concerned. I had a feeling we're still going to win. 2-3. But before I'm on cloud 9. But see, Man U, the shite. I'm sorry, but they are the shite. It's great to see. For years, they've laughed at us. They've laughed at other teams. The glory hunter fans. They couldn't even sell out their end. The first time ever I've ever seen a Man U section empty seats. So, yes, I can go all day, Steve. So that I'll pass on the Jenga boy, Pablo.
Jenga brother.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't seen the footage of Pablo playing Jenga at Leicester, it didn't end well, did it, Pablo?
Not my game, mate. Not my game, it seems.
Still looking for the splinters.
Yeah. Why did you bring this up? Man United.
What did you make of Man U?
Forget that. I just want to pull Magnus up on Ruben Amorim's tracksuit top. I'm not worried about his tracksuit top, mate, but any man who wears grey chinos that are aged 12 to 14 small boys with white trainers below that tracksuit top, they need checking out in view.
Yeah, Pablo, my point was like the hoodie of Jason Tindall looked like sound, you know.
It was silk. It looked beautiful. Man United yesterday, I mean, talk about 3 weeks of football. We've beaten the most entitled football team in the world, Liverpool. We've then continued that good form, and then we've beaten the self-acclaimed biggest club in the world. And we've not just beaten, we've absolutely tore them a new one, certainly in second half. I think I would agree with Melly in the sense of I don't think, although we were on top and we looked like, but we were doing a lot of huffing and puffing again in the first half. I think Man United did play some tidy little moves here and there, which I go along with Alan in the sense of I will always have Stockholm syndrome certainly when we're playing teams like Man United, Liverpool, because I think the referees are always trying to get them back in it. That's just something that's ingrained in me from a kid, and I don't think it'll ever leave me. Although I can see your point, Steve, of starting to gain a bit of confidence that we can see games through now. I think at half time, I mean, fair play to Tindall, staff, players, even Eddie to a certain degree. I mean, to have your kind of main man in hospital, I think Jason looked very worried before it, and I couldn't work out whether he was worried for Eddie's health or whether he was worried about the occasion. But I got some nervy vibes, which kind of made me a little bit nervous, really. But I tell you what, whatever that guy did at half time and throughout them few days leading that team into that game was fantastic. I mean, we've seen us at times this year blow teams out of the water in the first half, i.e. Nottingham Forest, and then we've kind of tailed off in the second half. But whatever he did, he executed it perfectly. And it was lovely to see Harvey Barnes, because I think that there's certain thoughts or views from some fans that maybe he isn't at this level, maybe we're not going to see the best of him. And to turn up in a game like that and completely wipe the floor with him in that individual goal where he's picked it up and then drove at him was absolutely phenomenal. I haven't even mentioned that first goal in that first half. That was like FIFA football stuff. You know what I mean? I was like jumping off my seat like I was in heaven. But I think on the whole, another fantastic result. Yeah, they might not be at their best at the minute, but anytime you go and beat Man United is an absolutely amazing day for me. The Palace game, weirdly enough, I think we'll go on and we'll beat Palace. I'm full of confidence after seeing yesterday, albeit Eddie's probably not going to be there again. And I know what pneumonia is like. When you get it as an adult, I had it probably about 21, 22. And that was me off the rotor for about a month. So I'm hoping that he's got a speedy recovery in him. But I also fear that it could be a little bit longer than what we think. But that being said, I mean, there's not much more I can say. We've gone and walloped Man United 4-1. And I've been trying to get rises out of Man United fans on every media, in the street. I'm sending texts to people.
Good for you.
I've not seen them for years, and I'm just trying to get a bite back, but they're not. They're flat. They're done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Done. On the Tindall thing, it's interesting. Somebody else mentioned that to me today, about Tindall, but that's just the way he is. That's why he gets the title Mad Dog. I mean, he looks as if he's just come out of a rave at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's basically what he looks like. Unfortunately, he can't do anything about it. Those are the looks he's been blessed with. So he does constantly look stressed an upper height, but in fact he's as calm and as cool as Eddie, really. And when you listen to the way that he talks and what he says, he just instills the same confidence as Eddie does. I think ultimately maybe he was he's obviously going to be concerned about his mate who he stood on the touchline with for 17 years. But from his perspective, professional job by him and the lads. Special shout out to the other backroom staff, including Graham Jones, who also did a great job and clearly got the lads focused on the job in hand, and will do, I'm sure, on Wednesday and at the weekend. Kev, great to see Newcastle again, going out on and finding a way to beat the team, which, go back to West Ham after, the Liverpool game. We all know what happened in the cup final, but just looking at league games in particular, West Ham away, Brentford at home, Manchester United at home, all games on paper that you look at and go, difficult games. We've found a way for a little section in the game, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, to break those teams down. And even Leicester, to a lesser extent, we had that little spell where we scored 3 goals, and then, like professional teams do, teams that win things do, we just shut up shop. And we thought we'll catch them on the counter. We didn't go chasing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We just, we did a professional job.
And you took the words right out of my mouth. It's professional. Not that I was worried about when they went 1-1. And I put something in the Facebook group about how our left side was disappointing in terms of the 1v1 defending and all the rest of it. And I can go into tactics about that and all the rest of it. But it was a fabulous display. The first goal was pretty much the best bit of football I've seen this season from us, with the interplay it wasn't really a high press. It was quite soft. And then we win the ball back quite easily and, ball into Isak with a deft touch and lobbed it over, and Tonali's finish was fabulous. But their goal was disappointing in my opinion. Like I said, it was, Ungarte and Dallo got doubled up on Livramento. And I said in the group, it was just delay him, to stop the ball and let the recovery runners come in. But he decided to go and win. And that was in my opinion, that's a poor decision-making process from a defensive standpoint. And that's not negative. That's just their individual errors. That's just, look at their individual errors. We can go and talk all day about their individual errors. But it was just one individual error I'm not saying Tino Livramento was a bad player. He had a great game, but it was just that one moment where he got overloaded on that left side. And he got punished. And that's just the counter-attacking style, what they did. But that's what when I was watching it, that's what they were trying to do. They didn't play. We played man-to-man. They played in between our lines. And they're always looking for that ball into Xerxes. They were always looking that ball into Hoyland for the third man run. And that never occurred. But it was always a problem. Tyndall figured it out at halftime, which is pretty much an Eddie Howe masterclass, because he's his best mate and he knows how the system works. He knows how to change it based on the processes that Eddie Howe's been put in place. But it was a little bit of a worry because they got out quite easily. Yes, they knocked it around 5-10 yard passes, but they broke our lines quite easily in the first half, which was a little bit of a worry. Not the Stockholm syndrome, but it was like they could punish us here if we pushed too high and pushed hard. They could get out and counterattack and leave our players isolated. And Dan Burn and Fabi Shaw were pushing into the midfield, following man-to-man with Garnacho and stuff like that. And Bruno Fernandes dropping in, and then you leave Xerxes in, who, is what it is. But I felt once the 11 on the field, they figured it out. Not Eddie Howe, Jason Tyndall and Graham Jones and the analytics team figured that out. How we pressed harder in the second half, and there was a bit too big of a gap from back four to our midfield three, in my opinion, which allowed it to just float that ball into whoever it was. They'll make them runs. And yes, they had little 5-minute, 2-minute spells. You know, their bit of, when Pope made that save, that was their best bit of football and across the whole game. Not, hey, look, it is what it was, right? You know, but for me, half time was crucial to get in 1-1 or even 1-0, 1-1. Fair enough. Melly was saying, oh, well, we could have had a penalty, blah, 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 whatever. No, it was never a penalty. As long as I've got a hole in my backside, that was never a penalty. But at the same time, in the second half, we just stepped up another gear. I think we were looking at Man United to sort of say what picture they're painting to how they're going to play, and then we'll react to how we're going to approach the second half. Obviously, going down the hill, not saying that's a thing, but for us it is. And we just went all out. I mean, even we'll go to the fourth goal. I'll just jump to the fourth goal. Yeah, the fourth goal. I mean, that was a flop shot. If you're talking in golf, that was a chip to Joe Linton. That was a brilliant pass to Joe Linton. And I mean, you know, I look at it as where, as a coach, if you're wanting to play out from the back, fine, great, do what you want. Have your beliefs, have your philosophies, understandable. But if you know Newcastle United are going to press high, have a high intensity, miss the press out, we do it. Just miss the press, just go along. I mean, hit channels, hit Isaac, hit whoever, switch the play on a diagonal and miss it all out.
Liverpool, Kevin.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then win the ball underneath and win the second ball or whatever that looks like. If we win the first one, great. If we don't, well, we'll just be higher up the pitch and then we'll win a minute the third into the attacking third. Dan Byrne talked about it. It's simple. The closer you are to their goal and you win it higher up the field, you get the less passes, the less touches, you got to go and score. Harvey Barnes' goal was prime example of that. It was a soft press. The lad slipped over. Don't know what studs he had in his boots, but he, you know, looked like he had ice skates on. So he just drove, and Tino Livramento just drove at them because they couldn't deal with that middle top end of the middle third to the attacking third. They couldn't deal with that press of the soft press, and we were quite happy to let them have it in that area. So again, at the end of the day, that's probably the worst Man United side I've seen in a very, very, very long time. And
I say though,
I couldn't. But at the same time,
couldn't knock them amongst the Man U.
No. I'm just saying
they laughed at us. I'm laughing at them.
Well, exactly, and the roles have been reversed, but at the same time, it's the process of how we play. Regardless, I could have stood there and said exactly the same thing as Jason Tindall did. Anybody on this panel could have said exactly the same thing of what.
I just think the players were edgy first half. I think they're just like they didn't click the gear, and then they changed gear. They changed gear to third gear. They did. That's what I think. That's what I think.
No, I agree, but they played.
I just thought we rushed it too much. We're trying to force it too much. Then second half, whatever.
You've got to understand in terms of high level elite football.
I know it's too much tactics for me. I know.
Well, that's how the game is.
I'm just saying. I don't agree with all what you said. I just think he's changed a couple of things and they went for it. And I just think that went to second to third. Right, yes, do them.
Yeah, but so in my opinion, it was too easy.
No.
It was too easy for them to get out. In my opinion, in the first half, it was too easy.
They only got out a couple of times, though, didn't they?
No. If you look back, they got out a few times. And
I watched the game. I was there.
I watch it from a different perspective. So they got out.
But I know me football. Kevin. I know me football. I don't know me football.
No.
Coaching, but I still know me football, mate. I still play football. I watch football for all my life, so I can still judge it, even though I'm not a coach like you. I can still know how football's run. I think Man U had one. When Pope saved, that's the only real chance I had in the first half. And he's saying, like, this point in our left back with Calvin, Tino Lynette. I thought he had a good game. I just thought he had a good game. He tracked.
But if you break it down,
I know, but I'm not doing taking back. I'm not taking breaking it down, mate. I'm just saying.
But that's what you.
I know, but I thought he did nothing wrong in my eyes. You were disappointed a little bit. I just don't think he did nothing wrong.
So therefore, then, if you know a lot about football, right? So if the ball goes into a left side, a central midfielder when they play 3-4-2-1, whatever it is, and the ball comes into a central midfield and you've got an overlapping fullback or wing back, and you've got a 2v1, what's their first initial thing as a defender? What you have to do, you have to delay that initial ball going forward. You have to stop them and turn them and have a recovery run.
You always got to get caught. You're not.
But not because he dove in. He didn't stand up.
No, but it's football. It's football, mate. You always got to cut position. You always got to do a daft mistake.
But it's decision making.
I know, but it's football, mate. Every football match, you always got to have decision making. Nothing's going to be perfect.
But if you want to be elite, you have to. If you want to be elite, you have to have good decision making. If you want to be where we want to get to, you have to be high level decision making. If you want to play in Champions League, you're going to get done constantly because other teams will look at that and decide, okay, we'll go down that left side. Yes, Lewis Hall might be there next season, wherever we land in terms of European competition. But other teams, Tino Livramento is there and tucking inside and diving in. Other teams will just rip us apart.
You can go to your Real Madrid, your Barcelona. You can probably say the same thing about them. Every team has in position errors.
That's analytics.
I agree, but every team, like your Madrid and things, they have the errors in football play. So it's only human, mate. So I'm not going to one elite. Whatever team's playing, every team has a mistake in them.
I'll let you both have a go there, lads, and I think it's a draw. Lots of people got opinions in the chat, and lots of people agree with Kevin. Lots of people agree with Darren. There's all about opinions on here. It was a healthy discussion, as Arthur says.
I love you, Darren, mate.
I love you too, pal.
Jacob, don't worry, mate. I'm a good referee, and he says it.
Keep the cokes coming, Darren. Keep the cokes coming.
I'm going to miss Emmerdale, says Jacob. What a classic. Barry, then over to you, mate. 4-1 against Manchester United.
Yeah, it was just. Like Darren said, it's an absolute great game for me. First half, they only had one decent chance. I get what Kev's saying. There's moments when they came at us and stuff, but apart from their goal, I didn't see them being in the game. I mean, they're a shadow of a Man United team. I totally agree with what George said and what other guys have said. You've got to go back to the late 70s to see a team that's that shite wearing their shirts. And it's like they were a second division team then. It was just they're at that standard. I mean, I'm gutted that the bottom three in the Premier League are so poor because I would love to see them go down because I could see it happening. Their confidence is completely shot to hell. Like you guys have said, the young'uns just look as though they're like headless chickens running around the pitch. They don't know what they're doing. There's no leadership at all. Fernandez gets raved about and he looks like a nothing to me. Eriksen was non-existent. And I like Christian Eriksen. I think he's a good player. He just...
Past his best.
Yeah. But I've seen him where he still controlled games, Alan, and just yesterday he was shocking. We tore them apart. I think first half we were in first gear. Second half we put it into second gear. I think their equaliser was a bit of a shock. Tyndall changed a few things at half-time, and second half we came out and destroyed them. It should have been 6. You know, we had 3 chances that could have gone in quite easily. I didn't really see them having a great go second half that they would have gotten back into the match. I thought they were terrible. I was amused by the fact how many times people fell over on the pitch, which I'm not quite sure what the rumours are going to be about that. The last time it was because Eddie hadn't cut the grass, so the ball against Brentford wasn't rolling properly. This time was he put too much water down, so they were sliding across the grass like headless chickens. But yeah, Steve, a cracking match. We were missing Fabian Schär, like somebody said in the chat, lobbing their goalkeeper from however many yards out to make it to do with Philippe Albert. But apart from that, we're blowing teams away. And we're blowing teams away. I mean, for me, it just shows there's only one United in the Premier League. And they don't come from Manchester. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's no wonder their fans, like Pablo says, their fans are keeping their heads down because they know how shit they are. I thought Melly was very brave coming on and saying sticking up for them, but a lot of the stuff he was saying was absolute. You know what I mean? It was somebody trying to defend his team, and we've been there. We've been shite.
Yeah.
We've been had the crap kicked out of us. We are usually honest on here. If we're being terrible, we all sit in and go, "Oh God," you know, it's the worst thing we've ever seen. But yeah, roll on Crystal Palace. I think if we can get points against Crystal Palace, leapfrog Nottingham Forest, then the world's our oyster.
Yeah.
We've got that confidence just at the right time. Just when I thought we were struggling to keep it going, we picked it up. For me, Gordon doesn't deserve to get back in the team at the minute. I think Barnes is playing out his skin. Murphy, as we've said time and time again on here, I know Darren's opinion of him, and he isn't the greatest player in the world, but he is going through one hell of a purple patch. So the two of them are on either side, tearing teams apart. And I think Gordon's.
If I may say something, I think he's got similar numbers to Bruno Fernandes. Just to add it into that.
He's well.
I've got Melly where he is the D. I'm taking credit for it though.
I strongly believe that, Darren. It's your coaching and your support that's getting him to the England team.
Yeah. I'll expect a thank you letter of him.
Critical friend.
Pablo, did you still have this question that you wanted to ask that you put in our chat?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I've been a couple of away games recently, and my mum and dad are of an age where they'll still sit at home and actually look at the TV thinking that I'm going to be on it because I'm the only one fan there. And the other night at Leicester, Darren will tell you, my dad sent me a message saying, "Wow, the fans sound loud." So I was sat with my mum and dad yesterday, and my mum, bless her, she struggles with her eyes, so vision's poor. And I have to sometimes point out, which kit we're playing in and which end we're kicking to. And I was singing along to a couple of our songs yesterday. And I've always thought we've got one creative bunch of supporters. Some of the songs are quite amusing. Some are quite rude. But I was singing along and she says, "How do football fans all know the same song?" And I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? As much as I thought it's a stupid question, I thought, how does it happen? How do we get 52,000 people? I'm not just talking about the ones that we all know. So there's got to be a guy or a girl sat there one night after a Newcastle Brown in the kitchen who's penned down a really creative, a really Paul McCartney-esque song. How does he or she then get to the ground and portray it to the rest of the fans? So what we see on a Saturday afternoon is 52,000 people singing a funny song. How does it happen?
Well, it's a weird one. This Supermac talks about this when he does his when he's done his talkings in the past, and he often talks about the song Supermac Superstar. How many goals have you scored so far? That went round St James's Park when he scored his hat trick against Liverpool, and he says who was handing the song sheets out, but it's just spontaneous. That Jesus Christ Superstar was the musical of the day, and it's just spontaneous. There was no social media then. There was people just start a song off and people like it, and it just passes down the crowd. It's as simple as that. Nowadays, you've got Twitter and Facebook and TikTok and stuff where people can put something out there, but literally that's it. Go on, George.
Yeah, I'm just going to say at the Arsenal game, how 52,000 people saying to Arteta, "It must be the ball, it must be the ball." I mean, that had to be spontaneous. Nobody wrote that down.
It starts with a one seed and then it just develops. Everybody it catches on, and I can speak for ourselves with the thunderclap didn't happen overnight. It developed and became a thing.
Yeah,
I think just as the last one, Steve, I think collectively, because we're good lads and we're a good fan base, I think we need to invite Melly to watch some European football next year. If you can.
Classic. Quick prediction, please, lads, for the Crystal Palace game. We'll start with you, George.
3-0.
3-0.
Straightforward for me.
Straightforward for George. 3-0. I'm going to go for a slightly more reserved 2-1. I do think Newcastle will win. I do think Palace will score, but I'm going to go for a 2-1. Alan? Same
as you, Steve. I hope, George, you're right. I think it'll be a nervy 2-1 for me.
A nervy 2-1. Okay. Yeah. Magnus?
Was it down London or is it St. James's?
It's at St. James's Park, mate.
St. James's Park. Then it's a 3-0 for sure. Easy 3-0 win, and we'll keep getting this entertaining football that we've been seeing. Amazing shots. You know, we're unstoppable.
We
Invincibles.
At the moment, we certainly are. Darren, how are you feeling about Wednesday?
I'm going to see a 1-1. Sorry, boys.
Okay, a 1-1 draw. Pablo?
I'm going to go for a nice tidy 2-0 win.
Nice tidy 2-0 win. Kevin?
Same, 2-0.
2-0 for you. And Barry?
Steve, I'm going with you, 2-1.
2-1, okay. And then we've got Aston Villa at the weekend. Obviously, that's away. So, Aston Villa, Barry?
I think we'll turn them over, 2-0.
2-0. Kevin?
This is my difficult one. When I said 30 points from now, from the cup final to the end of the season, this is my game where I think we'll not struggle, but it'll be the game of where we land. 2-1 away win.
2-1 away win. Pablo?
I'm worried about the Villa game because they play Paris, don't they? I think Paris will spank them. So I think there'll be a big reaction for Villa. I'm Alex, 1-1.
Darren?
Uh-oh.
7-0 Villa.
I'm kind of greeting Pablo's camp here, like, I looked in 1-1 if we're lucky.
Oh.
Okay, Magnus?
Yeah, I'm with Kevin on this one. It's a 1-2 for me. Not the easiest fixture, and we'll manage. It's going to be a tough game. We all know that. But I think PSG will do enough on them, just like they did to Liverpool before we met them. So
just depends.
I think it's going to take a lot out on Aston Villa playing PSG.
Okay, Alan?
I'm dreading it. I want we desperately beat Villa because I think we'll win 2-1, and I'm praying we'll win 2-1 because I absolutely hate them. Just below Sunderland, in my opinion, the way they go on. I hate Villa with a passion. I dread it because a couple of lads at the running club, would you believe, are Villa fans in Newcastle. They've been here, and I absolutely hate them, detest them. I'm desperate for every time we beat them. I love it. So I'm going for 2-1. It's one game I'll never admit they're getting beat, but I know they're a very good team, Steve. They've got a great squad of players, and so that might decide the game. They're substitutes, actually, but I'm hoping we'll beat Palace, we'll go in with momentum, and we'll beat them 2-1.
Okay, George?
2-0 to us. It's interesting, this historical thing about people not liking Villa. It's not new. It's from way back. The worst thing was in 1949 when the Pinch were manager. He signed for them and disappeared and didn't turn up at St. James's Park on the Monday. It was simple as that. That was Aston Villa.
I'm going to go for a Newcastle 1-0 win at Villa. I think it'll be a tight affair. I mean, it's either going to be one of those high-scoring games and it's a 2-2 or a 3-2, but I just got a feeling the defensive side of Newcastle might come up there. Obviously, Eddie's not going to be back for either of those games, looking at what's been said by the club tonight. So Mad Dog will be in charge for both. Great show tonight, lads. Great opinions as always. Thanks to everybody in the chat for coming on as well. And Melly as well for his contribution. If you are watching on Facebook, Twitter, or other social media providers, jump on to YouTube, search NUFC Matters, hit the subscribe button. I am back tomorrow, 2:00 in the afternoon with Sid and Rob for Talk of the Tune. See you then. Take care, guys.
Take care, everyone.
Easy, lads.
Take care.
Take care, guys.